Hi, I am Alexis, and for today's video, we are going to determine the differences between the popular literature and the modern literature. So here are the aspects that we are going to distinguish. First is their definition, and the second one is their characteristics.
But first, let us define what is popular literature. Popular literature is a literary work which are intended to provide entertainment for the masses and those that find favor with large audiences. Meaning to say, its purpose is to provide pleasure and entertain people and not make them think critically about the subject of the literary piece that they are reading. Now let us talk about the characteristics of popular literature. First, it does not deal with abstract problems, meaning most of its subjects are those that are easy to understand and does not require high degree of knowledge and effort to get what these literary pieces want to say. Second, it takes moral principles as the given. It also accepts certain generalized common sense ideas and values as its base. Next, it does not raise or answer abstract questions, so it assumes that the man knows what he needs to survive and it proceeds in showing his adventure of living. The fourth one is the absence of an explicitly ideational element of the intent to convey intellectual information. Since it is made to simply entertain, it does not teach or lead the reader into much philosophical inquiry nor disturb what they already know. And lastly, the use of repetition or pattern forming, wherein it employs the use of the stock characters such as the lovers, villains, and heroes, or slightly predictable storylines such as happy endings. Now here are the most common genres of popular literature. First is romance, which is typically about two young people in love who encounters a lot of obstacles. Second is the science fiction, which is more on innovation, technology, and other scientific phenomenon. Next is the detective story. It commonly deals with crimes such as murder and other unsolved mysteries. The fourth one is a comic strip. It is typically composed of graphics, narratives, and speech balloons or dialogue box. And the last is the comic books. It is a compilation of comic strips published into one book. Now let us define the modern literature. It refers to the modernist period in the late 19th and early 20th centuries wherein literature was written, explained, and spoken. It was parted to give to the essence of both prose and verse, and in here, authors are more risk takers as they keep on experimenting the genres and the subject of what they are going to write. Now let us talk about the characteristics of the modern literature and see how different it is from the popular literature. First, it influenced people with their work and creativity. Unlike the popular literature, it doesn't only entertain the readers, but it also makes them understand other people through their creativity. Next is that their subjects are not limited to revolution or love. In here, the authors discuss more the surrounding, the future, the sorrow, art, and the likes. Next is the experimentation. So in here, the authors employed a number of different experimental writing techniques to break the conventional rule of storytelling. It includes the blended imagery and themes, absurdism, non-linear narratives, and a stream of consciousness. Next is individualism. It focuses on the individual character rather than the society as a whole, and it follows how the character adapt to the challenges and difficult circumstances of life. It is typically written in the first-person perspective to emphasize the subjectivity of the character and to present multiple viewpoints. Another one is the preverse. The authors do not follow the traditional structure of poetry, meaning to say their works lack of rhyme scheme, metric pattern, and musical form. And lastly is the use of literary devices such as symbolism and imagery to help the readers understand the writings and create a better connection between the readers and the text.
And there we have it, the differences between the popular and the modern literature. To summarize, popular literature is more on providing entertainment and pleasure to its readers, and it usually involves around the 5 different genres such as the romance, detective story, science fiction, comic strip, and comic books. While modern literature is more on conveying messages in the text, which purpose is to influence other people through their work and creativity, making them understand each other. And the subjects of the modern literature is more on exploring other things such as future, art, surroundings, sorrow, and the likes. That's it, and thank you for listening. Once again, this is Alexis Jane Ola, and I'm now signing off.